Oh, they realized it, didn't they? The truth hit them like a freight train. When they least expected it one day, as they sat in the hollow echo of their own company, the realization crept in, a slow and suffocating whisper that grew louder and more intense with every passing moment. It wasn't sudden. It didn't come with the flash of a light bulb or the moment of sudden enlightenment that people talk about in movies. No, it was a quiet storm. It was the kind of realization that creeps in when they finally have the space to think and breathe and look around them and see what they've lost. And what did they lose? What did they lose in the end? It was you. It was your presence, your energy, your loyalty, your devotion. It was the thing they took for granted, the thing that seemed so permanent in their life, the thing they thought they could push away. And now it's gone. Now it's lost forever, and no amount of regrets will ever bring it back. Do you feel that sting? The one that cuts deeper than any physical wound ever could? That sting that comes with knowing that no apology, no desperate plea, no attempt at redemption will ever return things to the way they were? It's too late for that now. You've moved on. You've walked away. You've left them to dwell in the consequences of their actions. You've left them in the wreckage of their own decisions. And while they sit there, grappling with the weight of their realization, you've already made your exit. You've already moved past them. You've already closed the door. And do you know what that does to someone? It does something worse than rejection. It's not just that you've walked away. It's that you're no longer there for them to reach out to. It's the understanding that you've become a distant memory, a faded echo, and no amount of regret will ever rewrite the past. They thought they had time. They thought they could make you wait, make you linger, make you stay as they played their games, as they made their choices. They thought you were always going to be there, always going to stand by them, always going to pick up the pieces of their broken self when they felt like it. They thought they could take you for granted and that there would always be another chance, another opportunity to make things right. But here's the truth that burns in their chest now. They were wrong, so wrong. And now there's nothing they can do to fix it. They didn't realize what they had until it was gone, and by then, it was too late. There's something powerful about realizing that you are no longer a part of someone's life. It's not the sadness that people expect you to feel. It's something more primal, more intense. It's a quiet sense of victory, a realization that you've taken back your power, that you've stopped begging, stopped pleading, stopped giving. It's the understanding that while they were too busy taking, you were too busy growing, too busy finding your own path, too busy discovering the strength that comes from walking alone. And now they're left to reap what they've sown. They're left to face the consequences of their actions without you to soften the blow, without you to smooth over the jagged edges of their mistakes. They've lost the most valuable thing they ever had, you. And the harshest part of it is that they only realize it now, when it's too late. You've already moved on. You've already built something new, something better, something that doesn't include them. You found your peace in their absence. You found your strength in the silence they left behind. And when they reach out, when they send those desperate messages, when they try to apologize, to make amends, to claw their way back into your life, the truth is clear. You're no longer interested. You're no longer invested. You're no longer willing to be the person who bends, who sacrifices, who puts in the effort when they were the ones who took it all for granted. What they fail to realize is that it's not just about the time that's passed. It's not just about the space between you and them. It's not just about the fact that you've moved on. It's that the damage has been done. There's no coming back from the betrayal, no coming back from the hurt. No coming back from the endless disappointment. You gave them everything, and they turned it into nothing. You offered them your love, your loyalty, your trust, and they played with it like it was a toy, breaking it into pieces without a second thought. And now they want it back. They want it back, but the problem is that what they broke can't be fixed. What they destroyed can never be rebuilt. You're no longer the person you were when they first walked into your life. You're stronger now. You're wiser now. You've learned to value yourself in ways they never even saw. You've learned that you are worth more than their empty words, their half-hearted gestures, their lies. And when you stand there, looking at them from a distance, watching their desperation and regret, it's almost laughable, isn't it? It's almost laughable how little they understand the depth of what they've lost. They thought they had time to fix things. They thought they could wait until they were ready to appreciate you. But now, they see you standing there, unshaken, unmoved, and they know. They know the truth that burns in their soul. You're not coming back. You're not going to wait around for them to get their act together. You're not going to be their safety net, their fallback, their second choice. You are worth more than that. You were always worth more than that. And now, the weight of that realization is crushing them. You've reached a point where their presence no longer affects you. You've reached a point where their words no longer sting. You've reached a point where their apologies are nothing more than hollow sounds, empty gestures that mean nothing to you. You've walked through the fire and you've emerged unscathed. You've learned to be strong on your own. And as they sit there, clinging to their regrets, clinging to their hope that they can somehow find their way back to you, you are already light years ahead of them. You are already past them. You have already moved on to better things. And that's where the true power lies, in knowing that you no longer need them. They've learned their lesson too late, haven't they? They've learned what it costs to lose someone like you, but by the time the lesson hits, it's already over. They've already lost. And now, they will sit in the silence of their own regret, looking around them and realizing that the one person they thought they could afford to lose is the one person they will never be able to get back. And you will keep moving forward because you know better now. You know that no one gets to have access to your heart unless they've earned it. And you know that once someone burns a bridge, once someone takes you for granted, they will never have the privilege of walking back across it. So let them realize their mistake. Let them sit in the regret. Let them stew in the consequences of their own actions. You have already won. You have already moved on. And they're just left with the haunting realization that they've lost something they will never find again. The realization settles deep within them like a weight they can't lift, an ache they can't soothe. They can try to fill the void with distractions. They can seek the comfort of new faces, new places, new things, but none of it will ever compare to the person they lost. Nothing will ever be able to replace what they had with you. They might convince themselves that it's just another chapter in life, that they'll move on and find something better, but deep down, they know the truth. They know that what they've lost was unique, irreplaceable, and that their own decisions tore it all apart. There is no turning back the clock. There is no undoing what has been done. And that's the hardest part to face, isn't it? The knowledge that you, the person who once meant so much to them, are now a part of their past. You're not there anymore. You're not in their life. You're not standing by their side anymore, offering them your support, your loyalty, your love. You're no longer available to comfort them, to listen to their problems, to ease their burdens. And it's in that absence that the truth really begins to sting. They might try to distract themselves with the noise of the world around them, but the silence of your absence is deafening. The emptiness is crushing. And here's the thing, they can try to replace you with someone else. They can try to seek out another person who might offer them some semblance of what you once gave them, but they will always fall short. The truth is, there will never be anyone who will love them the way you did, who will understand them the way you did, who will give them the kind of selfless devotion you gave. No matter how hard they search, no matter how many new faces they meet, they will never find someone who can fill the hole you've left behind. People might come and go, but no one will ever truly compare, and they know it. Deep in their bones, they know it. As the days pass, they might try to convince themselves that it doesn't matter. They might tell themselves that they're better off, that they don't need you, that they'll be fine without you. But it's all a lie. They'll tell these lies to themselves because facing the truth is too painful. Facing the truth would mean admitting that they lost someone who was irreplaceable, someone who loved them in a way that no one else could. But deep down, behind all the lies, they know the truth. They know that the space you left in their life is a void that can never be filled, a silence that will never be drowned out by any amount of noise or activity. You're gone, and they are left with nothing but their own regrets and their own self-inflicted loneliness. And it's in those moments of loneliness that the reality of their mistake hits the hardest. It's in those quiet, painful moments when they realize that no matter how many people come into their life, no one will ever be able to fill the gap you left behind. They can try, but they will always fall short. They will never have the same kind of connection that they had with you. They will never feel the same kind of love, the same kind of trust, the same kind of bond. What they had with you was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing, something that can't be replicated no matter how hard they try. And as the weeks turn into months, and the months turn into years, the weight of their loss will only grow heavier. They will begin to realize that the life they once had with you was something extraordinary, something rare, something special. They will look back on those memories with a sense of longing and regret, wishing they could turn back time, wishing they could make different choices, wishing they could go back to the days when things were simpler and when you were still by their side. But by then, it will be too late. The damage has been done, and there's no way to fix it. They will have to live with the consequences of their actions for the rest of their life, and every time they look back, every time they think of you, they will feel that sting, that deep, gnawing ache in their chest, knowing that they lost something they will never find again. And it's not just the emotional toll. It's the realization that you've moved on. It's the knowledge that you're out there living your life, thriving without them, succeeding without them, growing without them. You're doing just fine, and you're not looking back. They can see it from a distance. They can hear it from the people around them, and they can feel it in their bones. You're stronger now. You're better now. You found peace. You found your own path. You found happiness, and it doesn't involve them. And that is the hardest pill to swallow. That's the reality that they can't escape. They can't undo the past. They can't turn back time and make things right. You've already moved on, and no matter how much they wish it were different, no matter how much they regret their decisions, you are no longer a part of their life. They've spent so much time thinking they could live without you, so much time thinking they could find happiness without you. But now they realize the truth. They never truly understood what they had until it was gone. And now that it's gone, they're left with nothing but the haunting realization that they lost the one person who would have always been there for them. They lost the person who gave them everything, the person who loved them without condition, the person who was always ready to stand by them no matter what. And now that person is gone, and they will never get them back. And what do they do with that realization? How do they cope with the crushing weight of their own mistake? They can try to distract themselves with the busyness of life. They can fill their days with work, with friends, with anything to avoid confronting the truth. But the truth is always there, lurking in the background, gnawing at them, reminding them of what they lost. It doesn't go away. It doesn't fade. It stays with them, a constant reminder of their own failure, a reminder of their own shortcomings. And every time they think they're doing okay, every time they think they've moved on, something happens to remind them of you. It could be a song on the radio, a place you both used to go, a simple word that sparks a memory, and in those moments, they are hit with the full force of what they've lost. They realize that no matter how hard they try to move forward, they can't escape the truth that they lost you, the truth that they let you slip through their fingers, the truth that they took you for granted, and now it's too late. You've gone on without them. You've moved forward. You've found your own peace, your own happiness, your own life. And while they're stuck in the past, stuck in their own regrets, stuck in their own self-pity, you're out there living. You're out there building something new, something better, something that doesn't include them. And that's where the real power lies. The real power lies in knowing that you've moved on, in knowing that you've learned to live without them, in knowing that you don't need them. And every time they realize that, every time they see how far you've come, it will only make their regret burn deeper. They will never find someone like you again. They will never find someone who loves them the way you did. They will never find someone who would have stood by them through thick and thin, who would have supported them, who would have believed in them. They will never find someone who gave them everything. And in the end, that's the hardest part to accept. They've lost you. And no matter how many apologies they give, no matter how many times they beg for forgiveness, it won't change a thing. The truth is clear now. They've lost something they will never find again. And that is their eternal burden to carry, and it will never let them go. There is a weight that follows them, a shadow that looms over them wherever they go. And no matter how far they run, no matter how many distractions they find, it will never truly fade. It's a burden they will carry to the end of their days. And the worst part of it is that they brought it upon themselves. They made the choices. They made the decisions that led to this moment. And now, they have to live with the consequences. There's no one else to blame. There's no one else to point fingers at. It's all on them. They let you slip away, and now, that empty space where you once were will never be filled. The burden doesn't just sit lightly on their shoulders. It presses down on them, suffocating them at every turn. It creeps into their thoughts at the most unexpected moments, reminding them of everything they could have had, everything they threw away. It gnaws at their conscience in the quiet of the night when there's nothing but their own thoughts to keep them company. It's always there, lurking in the background, a constant reminder of their failure. And no matter how hard they try to push it away, to ignore it, to pretend that it doesn't matter, they know the truth deep down. They lost something irreplaceable, and they can never get it back. There are days when they try to convince themselves that they've moved on, that they're okay without you, that life is better without you in it. They try to fill the gap you left with other people, with other things, with temporary distractions, but it never works. It never fills the void. And as time passes, they start to realize that no matter how many new faces they meet, no matter how many new relationships they try to build, they will always be left wanting. They will always be looking for something they will never find again. Because no one will ever love them the way you did. No one will ever understand them the way you did. No one will ever give them the kind of unconditional support and loyalty that you offered. And that realization is like a dagger to the heart, a reminder that they destroyed something they'll never be able to replace. The burden of regret is an insidious thing. It doesn't announce itself with loud cries or dramatic moments. No, it's much more subtle than that. It slips in during the quiet moments when they're alone with their thoughts, when the noise of the world fades away and all that's left is the echo of their own mistakes. It's the moments when they're sitting in a crowded room, surrounded by people yet feeling more alone than ever, because they realize that none of these people can replace the person they lost. It's the moments when they're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering what went wrong, wondering where they went wrong, and wishing they could go back and do things differently. But it's too late for that. The damage has been done, and there's no going back. They might try to tell themselves that they're better off without you, that they didn't need you, that they were fine on their own. They might try to convince themselves that the love they had for you was somehow not worth it, that it wasn't meant to be. But deep down, they know the truth. They know that what they had with you was special. They know that the bond you shared was unlike anything they've ever had before. And they know that they will never find anything like it again. The love they shared with you was pure, it was genuine, and it was something rare. And now, it's gone. Gone because they let it slip through their fingers. Gone because they didn't realize what they had until it was too late. And no amount of convincing themselves otherwise will change the fact that they lost something extraordinary. They can try to bury the pain. They can try to hide it behind distractions and noise. They can fill their life with new relationships, new experiences, new things. But no matter how hard they try, the weight of what they've lost will always be there. It will always be a part of them. And with each passing day, the burden grows heavier. The realization that they can never go back, that they can never undo their mistakes, that they will never get you back, starts to take its toll. It eats away at them slowly, steadily, like a poison that seeps into their veins, leaving them feeling empty and hollow inside. They will go through phases of denial. There will be days when they tell themselves that maybe, just maybe, they can fix it. Maybe they can find a way to repair the damage they've done. Maybe they can win you back. But as the days stretch into weeks and the weeks into months, they start to realize the truth. They start to realize that no matter what they do, no matter how many times they apologize, no matter how many promises they make, you're not coming back. You've moved on. You've found your peace. You've found your happiness, and it doesn't include them. And that's when the reality sets in, and the burden becomes even heavier. They are left with nothing but the knowledge that they lost the one person who ever truly mattered. And that, my friend, is something they will never be able to escape. They may try to bury the pain in work, in hobbies, in new relationships. They may try to distract themselves with anything they can get their hands on, but they will always come back to the same thought, the same realization. They lost you, and they will never get you back. That truth will haunt them, day in and day out, for as long as they live. There will be no escaping it. There will be no moving past it. It will follow them like a shadow, a constant reminder of the choice they made, the mistake they can never undo. They might find some comfort in the idea that time heals all wounds, but that's just another lie they tell themselves. Time doesn't heal the wound of losing someone who was irreplaceable. Time doesn't erase the regret of pushing someone away who loved you with all their heart. Time doesn't make the pain go away. It just makes it harder to feel. It numbs the edges, but the pain is always there, lurking beneath the surface, ready to resurface at any moment. And when it does, it's like being hit with the realization all over again. The pain, the regret, the emptiness. It never really goes away. It just becomes a part of them. And the worst part is that they'll never be able to fix it. They can apologize 1,000 times. They can try to make things right, but the damage has been done. They will never be able to undo the harm they caused. They will never be able to erase the memories of the times they took you for granted, the times they hurt you, the times they pushed you away. And no matter how much they wish they could change the past, the truth is that it's over. You're gone, you've moved on, and they're left with nothing but the aftermath of their own actions. And as they go through life, they'll always feel that empty space where you used to be. They'll see glimpses of your smile in other people, hear your voice in the words of strangers, and remember the way you made them feel. But it won't be the same. It will never be the same. And every time they think about you, every time they remember what they had, the weight of their mistake will crush them all over again. Because deep down, they know the truth. They've lost something they'll never find again. They'll spend their days trying to fill that emptiness, trying to convince themselves that it doesn't matter, trying to pretend that they're okay. But the truth is, they'll never be okay. They'll never be whole again. They will always be haunted by the fact that they let you slip away, that they took you for granted, and that they will never, ever be able to undo it. That is the burden they will carry for the rest of their lives. The burden of regret, the burden of loss, the burden of knowing that they lost something truly irreplaceable. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how much they try to move on, it will always be there. In the end, the burden of their mistake is a weight they will carry forever. No matter how much time passes or how many distractions they find, they will never escape the truth. They lost something irreplaceable, something that can never be regained. The regret will linger, the emptiness will remain, and they will always carry the reminder of what they threw away. And as they move through life, they will come to understand that some losses are permanent, and no amount of wishful thinking can change the past.